mystic Jelaluddin Rumi. Good afternoon, and welcome to Lake Chapala Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name's Tim Boeve, and I'm today's service associate. And our speaker today is my good friend Gregg Kemp. We welcome all of you who are, you want to keep scrolling that a little bit. If you're checking us out, we're very happy that you're here, and we hope you'll find a home with us. We're entering a sacred time, making this time and this place sacred by our presence and our intention. And in that vein, may I ask you to please silence your cell phones. Our opening words this afternoon are another poem by Jelaluddin Rumi, about whom we will be hearing today, along with his inspiring words. Below the horn of unity, let's try that again. Blow the horn of unity, and let us all gather together and join as one. Let us forget our differences, if only for a moment. If we are carried away beyond ourselves, we will become the color of water. We are all branches of a single tree, all fellow. So, my fellow travelers, if you happen to be new here today and would like to receive our newsletter and other emails, please talk to a member of the welcome team or write us at info@lcuuf.org. And just to identify those folks who are on our welcome team, if they'd stand up for a moment so people can see who you are. Got them behind us, and welcome, and thank you for being part of our team. I want to take a moment to extend a very warm welcome to everyone who's visiting us. Whether you're visiting with us for the first time or you've returned or reconnected with us after a long absence. And in a moment, Hyacinth's going to pass a mic around, and if you are new and would be willing to introduce yourself, telling us what your name is and where you're from, that would be delightful. And for those of you who happen to be on Zoom and visiting for the first time, you could write your name in the chat, and your name will be read aloud in a moment. So anybody here for the first time or would like to say their name? Here we got somebody over here, Hyacinth.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Monica. I am a Mexican from Mexico City, but I have lived in this area for almost 12 years. And I'm so happy to join you. I have so many friends here that it's a pleasure to be here with you and share this spiritual moment. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Monica.
Hi, my name is Robin Siebert. American. I've been here almost 22 years, and I don't know where I'm from because I've lived in 14 countries, but I'm glad to be here. I told Trudy years ago I was coming. Here I am.
Well, we're glad to claim you, so.
Hi, I'm Carrie, and this is Chris. And we are visiting his mother, June, this weekend, and we're from Dallas, Texas, and we're happy to share the spiritual moment, too.
Michael, how about on Zoom? Do we have any visiting folks with us this afternoon?
Yes, we do. Good morning and greetings from the Coastal Virginia Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Virginia Beach, VA, USA. I am in Guadalajara as a medical tourist and searched UU on a whim. Too late to be by the lake in time for the service. I have great interest today as I have a background in the study of Rumi's separation pain. Very glad you are on, will be there in spirit.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is that it?
I do believe that's all.
Okay. So all our visitors and newcomers, both in person and those folks on Zoom. Here at LCUUF, we offer a wide variety of services on various topics. These are presented by folks like us and by our fine pastor back there, Matt Elsbaugh. And we hope that you'll return often to sample the way we express our thoughts and beliefs here. Lighting today. As we light, or I should say as Flo lights the chalice, knowing of the perils that face our world, let us find solace in the presence of one another, knowing that we have a place of belonging here where we are free to be ourselves and to experience this fellowship whereby our spiritual lives can be strengthened and our faith in the best that is in humanity can be renewed. Let this light serve as an image of ourselves, being sources of perpetual light penetrating the darkness that will not prevail. Now, having lit our candle, let us sing these words together.
We kindle this light in celebration for the life that we share.
Each week we come together to lament with, celebrate with, and care for one another in our community. Love is not only at the center of our UU values, it is also the opening that invites us to lament, celebrate, and care as we briefly share our personal joys and sorrows and our milestones. There is power in sharing as we hold each other in community. Just a sentence or two is enough, and again, we'll start with the folks here in the room to give those on Zoom a chance to type joys and sorrows into the chat to be read aloud in the fellowship. As the mic is passed, start us off, Larry. I think you know the drill.
I'm Larry, and I'm really happy to be here today. My lovely wife, Dee Dee, has been quite ill, but she's got a lot of spunk, so she's here too. And thank you, everyone that was so kind. I've had help from many of you in so many ways, and it makes you know why you're in such a wonderful group of people.
My name is Ellie. Some of you here attended our other performance of care partners who shared their story. And we had a full house again. And we've had so many positive responses that people want to hear the stories. And so we raised some money so we can continue our efforts to make Lakeside a dementia-inclusive community, create more awareness. And it was recorded, and we will share the recording of the one in April that was shared by people with early onset dementia. So we're making a lot of progress in creating more awareness. It's great. Thank you.
Right here, Flo.
Hi, I'm Flo, and I wanted to share this piece of what's going on out there that gives my heart some warmth. I've been following what's going on between Canada and Mexico, and on YouTube. And there are some wonderful things that are happening, wonderful. And, you know, it gives me, I'm verklempt. It's really good stuff, and I need to feed myself good stuff. So, and be happy for where I am. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Good morning. My sister, 81 years, came about a month ago here for, it wasn't really medical tourism, but she had a heart pacemaker put in here because of the difficulties in the US that she had. They told her she'd have to wait at least 6 months. And she had incredible fibrillation, and so she came here. And she had the pacemaker put in about 2 weeks ago. 2 days after she had it in, we were at LCS at a concert, and she was dancing. So definitely my great joy. And my sadness is that she left yesterday. So she went back to Minnesota, but she is with her family and is feeling the best she's felt in years.
Anyone else here? I have a brief sadness to share. My good friend Roy Quiriconi died a week ago today, actually, at noon. And his wife, Susie, also a dear friend, she happened to fall this past week. And as I understand it, I haven't been able to talk to her since she fell. But she's in the care of a doctor, and then we'll go into rehab for a while. So hold Susie in your thoughts and heart, and all their family back in the States as well. So, Michael, any joys or sorrows typed into the chat box?
Yes, we have one from Colleen Berry. It's a joy. Recovering from thyroid surgery and grateful that the growths were determined to be benign. I celebrated with an amazing trip to New Orleans. Wonderful.
Thanks, Michael. And thank you, Colleen. This candle, it's already been lit, actually. So in anticipation, we'll just take a few moments and hold all these concerns and joys that you've heard and or what you yourself are experiencing. So let's just take a few seconds for that, shall we? As you all know, the work of our fellowship within these walls and beyond takes our time, our talents, and our treasures. The offering that we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to one another. It is as much a ritual as is the lighting of our chalice each week. It's a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that what we believe is important and to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. As we pass the baskets, just a couple of things. If you're new here today, or if you're struggling to hold things together, just let the baskets pass you by. Your presence is a gift enough for us. And one other word from Lamar. Rather than, if you're looking for change, don't worry about it. Just talk to him at the end, and he'll be happy to relieve you of all of your cash. So just see Lamar. Is that what you told me to say? Thank you, Jim. Yeah, you're welcome. So anyways, so as the baskets are passed, you'll see who it is that we're supporting. Each week, whatever we collect goes to a community organization. This month, it's Food Bank Lakeside. You can read about it up on the monitors. And we'll just, I don't think we have any music playing during this, so we'll just stare at each other for a little bit. Yeah, I don't have any, well, I could tell you a joke that Roy told me. I will say about my friend Roy, I got to see him on Saturday, the day before he passed. And the last thing he said to me was, I could go at any time. And That sure happened. So just a reminder how important it is to keep people in our hearts that we care for in our hearts close to us, because we just don't know, do we? So thank you for your generosity, and let me share these words about what we're doing here with this offering that were given by Kristen Collins. We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Isn't that right? So may this offering sustain and grow the life and work of this congregation and serve for the enhancement of our community as well. And now I'd like to introduce Mike Blanco, who's going to share from Zoom. I forget, Mike, if you're still in Michigan or Illinois, but you can let us know where you're coming from. But he's going to talk to us about why he pledges.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here today. I'm not an inherently optimistic person. I think it's because when I was young and played on sports teams, we finished in second place a lot. Never quite first, but I don't think I'm Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, but I'm certainly not Pollyanna either. I like to think I'm realistic, though who knows what real is these days anyway, with so much information at our fingertips, but of such questionable value, and perhaps mostly even false. But what is most sad to me is to see a country like the US, which has so much potential for good, being used to inflict so much harm throughout the world. Depending on who you read, I'm thinking of people like Dolores Huerta or Angela Davis or Noam Chomsky, given the long history of oppression and exploitation that characterizes the United States. Perhaps we shouldn't be so shocked at how cruel our current administration is. Maybe we're just paying a little closer attention. And that's why I pledge. I see Unitarian Universalism and our little church in the Lake Chapala region as one of its many representatives as a faithful counterweight for over 200 years to hate, bigotry, violence, consumption, superstition, and so on that plague our world. Many other organizations stand with our UU values that are worthy of our support, and we should complement our UU support with these organizations also. But for me, UU holds a special place in that, in addition to all this, it is a place where the soul can find refuge and healing. It is a fellowship in addition to its social and political agenda. I think that's rare and something to be treasured. I also find our international presence unique and exciting. Hopefully, it deepens our understanding of what it means to have privileges we didn't earn, so as to extend our out humbly to those who have so welcomed us into their country, who welcomed our fellowship into their country. Hopefully, it enlivens our sense that we have fewer answers than we think we do, and our willingness to learn from the cultural and spiritual paths of others what it means to be more whole as human beings. In my view, our pledges are both a bargain for ourselves personally and an investment in a better world. And I don't see how you can do much better than that. Thank you.
So let's sing together, "Make Me a Channel of Your Peace." Everybody stand if you're able.
Let
Today's reading is from the Gospel of Thomas, one of the 2nd century Gnostic writers discovered in 1945 near Nag Hammadi in Egypt. And I'm reading a slightly adapted words in service to inclusivity. Let those who seek continue until they find. When they find, they will become troubled. When they become troubled, they will be astonished and will rule over the all. Jesus once said, if those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. But the kingdom is within you and among you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will know that you are the sons and daughters of the living Father, Mother, God.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be present at the gathering here today. It's my hope that you'll receive something of value through the presentation. My name is Greg Kemp, and my partner Alicia Knox and I have lived here for 2 years. We offer classes in guided autobiography. That's what we actively do in the world. People write their life stories 2 pages at a time. If you want info on that, there's brochures on the table. Before that, we lived in a small Mayan village in the highlands of Guatemala. We co-founded Project Somos Children's Learning Village, and it offered nutritional and academic support to the local Mayan village. But first things first, I would like to invite the living presence of all those on the wall here to assist us, and me in particular, to invite their presence here. And one thing that I've learned is that beings like this are always willing to show up, but they need an invitation and they need some space. So let us just take a moment of silence to make our invitation and to make some space. Thank you. My interest in mystical poetry began when I fell into the company of the Whirling Dervishes. In 1976, not where you expect, it was in Vancouver, British Columbia. There was a group of recovering hippies that became spiritual seekers. And the Sheik of the the Sheik of the Dervishes came from Turkey. Suleiman Dede, he had been the lineage holder, the line of the Mevlevis since 1273. It's been passed, and he was the current one in that time. You have to go back a little bit, Michael, sorry. From this launching point, I also was trained in what's called a mustakebza. And this was a tradition reportedly 20,000 years old, found its origin in the Caucasus Mountains of Russia between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. And I met the last living elder, also strangely, in Vancouver, British Columbia. And a community formed around him when we kind of discovered who he was. And we wanted to preserve this ancient spiritual cultural tradition since he was the last living elder. Once he began talking in 1976, he didn't stop outlining the process of spiritual development for 25 years. So there were 9 books published, and the intent of preserving this cultural and spiritual tradition was accomplished. In 2011, my wife Alicia and I packed up our pickup truck, loaded all our personal belongings and our precious dog Tika, And we set off to Guatemala to basically establish the Somos Learning Village. It was an opportunity of a lifetime for us to apply love in a practical way. So I understand that the title of this presentation may sound a bit heady, but I can assure you that your intellect is not my target. It is your knowing heart. That is really what I'm aiming at. The intellect is a wonderful tool too. It's great for logic and reason, but it doesn't have the bandwidth to really grasp boundless love or the capacity for direct knowledge of the spirit or divine. The poet Rumi said, "Reason is powerless in the expression of love." That's really pretty simple and accurate. Not unlike other mystics, including St. Francis of Assisi, Buddha, Rumi left his privilege and position of honor to actively seek that direct contact. He was a renowned Islamic theologian like his father before him. He left his religious post and his many students to follow a wandering mystic named Shamsi Tabriz. This departure from the traditional set the course for all of his radical love poetry to follow. And that was a little painting of Rumi. So Rumi's works of poetry include the Masnawi. Again, originally it was written in Persian. It's been translated into many languages. But the Masnawi has 25,000 rhyming couplets across 6 volumes, which stack up. And the Diavani Shamsi Tabriz, it has 40,000 verses with 3,000 lyric poems. So he was quite prolific. Rumi described his poetry as follows. In these pages, many mysteries are hinted at. What if you come to understand one of them? Words let water flow from an unseen infinite ocean. Come to this place as energy for the dying and even for the dead. Bored onlookers, but with such in our eyes. As we read this book, the jewel lights intensify. I've heard often over the years, I know this in my heart, or people speak about a gut feeling as mediums of knowing, which are actually contrary to reason and logic of the intellect, but in the end are correct. How many here have had this experience of knowing something and didn't really line up with logic? I think it's probably happened to most people. One of the very fundamental foundations of communication here that we have, it's important to have the same or at least very similar definitions of a spiritual glossary term. And the term today is mysticism. I had the, and I'm going to define it, but keep going, Michael. I had the good fortune to be in a spiritual community of people who had an obsession for many years about clarity of vocabulary. So for over 20 years, this group of people worked on a glossary of spiritual terms. This clarity really assists the intellect to communicate with the subconscious, and the subconscious communicate with the intellect. So mysticism, as it was defined by this group of people, is a faculty peculiar to humans relating to or resulting from direct communion with God, the ultimate reality, that is neither apparent to the senses nor obvious to the intelligence, but which can be experienced through the developing of the finest receptivity down in the deepest realm of the subconscious mind. The core of the definition is direct communion with this ultimate reality. The reality that we swim in. We can't escape it. We can't go to the shore outside of this ocean of reality. So the term Gnosticism comes from the Greek word gnosis, meaning knowing, knowledge. Gnostics believe that salvation comes through esoteric spiritual knowledge rather than faith alone or good works. Gnosticism flourished in the early centuries of Christianity, roughly from the 1st to the 4th century. So, who were these Gnostics through the ages? The ones we know of were the saints and prophets from every tradition. Abraham, Moses, Buddha, Krishna, Francis of Assisi, Saint Clare of Assisi, Jesus, Muhammad, Jelaluddin Rumi, Mary, mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Teresa de Avila, Hafiz, Saint Hildegard de Bingen, Paramahansa Yogananda, Kabir, Mahadevi, and Miraba. And there's way too many to list. And they say there's always at least one in the world to keep it all together. So, how many people have read the poetry of Rumi or other mystic poets before? Okay, thank you, awesome. So, why do you think these people wrote this poetry? Well, my view is that they did it out of desperation. Desperation to express the inexpressible. The communion with the divine and/or universal love. As mentioned before, the intellect does not have the capacity for this dimension of experience, nor the capacity for the expression of this type of encounter. Here is a poem that came to me a few years ago after I met my wife, Alicia. It describes my personal challenge and desperation of expressing beauty beyond my rational mind. So this is entitled Hafiz and Rumi. I made a pilgrimage to my inner shelf for a poem beautiful enough to describe you. I consulted with Hafiz and Rumi to find a verse profound enough to convey the depth and width of ecstasy I experience with you. They laughed at me, bent over with great belly guffaws, their eyes tearing all the while. When they finally stopped, their gaze turned my way with compassion, and their tears were no longer from laughing, but from a timeless ache. I said to them, "Stop fooling around. Please don't play with me like this. I am serious." Rumi said, "Oh, my son, how can you hope to find such a description when I, with 25,000 verses and 18,000 universes, could not succeed?" I turned to Hafiz, who smiled and said, "You cannot ever hope to bottle her infinite beauty. Each split second will reveal more universes in her splendor, and when you put pen to paper, you will miss a galaxy appearing in her eye." They both fell silent, and I knew that the answer had to be found within my own heart. I turned my gaze inward, traveling to the subtlety of the absolute nothing, and there I found her, in essence, in all, birthing and sustaining life. I looked further and saw all the invisible particles of light dancing a spiral with her. The music that moved them was her movement of heart, pulsing through all, charming the electrons, moving the planets, and embracing the nebula. Oh, friends, now how foolish to consider I could truly reflect in words the beauty she is. Millennia has endlessly repeated the valiant and eloquent efforts of poets to express what cannot ever be fully described. This beauty can only be experienced and leads one to silence. So, the question is today, is there any value in this heretical, mystical poetry to humanity? My perspective after 50 years of reading these crazy poets and writing a little bit, the value is the resonance that we can feel and experience with the essence of the poetry, and perhaps the author. These poems can inform the intellect of the existence of another dimension of living. It can inspire us to aspire to one's essential and best self. This poetry has been written from a place of higher mind, heart, or soul, whatever you want to call it. There is a subtle vibration embedded in the words and between the lines. The metaphoric expressions point to something that cannot be directly expressed or described. The lessons are valuable like parables and not to be underestimated. The vibrational imprint on the heart and on the subconscious mind can be profound. This is another poem by Rumi. Come out of the circle of time and into the circle of love. Enter the street of taverns and sit amongst the drunkards, who, by the way, are intoxicated on love. If you want a secret eye, just shut your eyes. If you desire an embrace, just open your arms. If you crave a living face, smash the stone face. Why pay the dowry of this life for this old hag called earth? 1,000 generations have enjoyed what you enjoy. Taste the sweetness in your mouth that was before honey or bee. Look, here's a bargain. Give one life and take 100. So this type of poetry can be studied over a lifetime without reaching the end of meaning and experience. Rumi's poetry totals over 65,000 verses, which makes him one of the most prolific mystic poets of history. Much of the poetry poured from him while he was dancing, and it was recorded by a scribe at the time. It wasn't passed orally as, say, the New Testament was. This whirling dance became embedded in the tradition of Rumi, called the Whirling Dervishes, and is known as whirling, yes. There is a whirling celebration of Rumi every year on December 17th to commemorate his passing. So I think this is the 752nd one this year. Yes, okay. It has, go ahead, Michael, I'm ready. It's called the wedding night because his passing, he was considered that he wedded with his beloved. And it's been celebrated for the past 752 years. So we're going to have a celebration here in Ajijic of what's called Shebia Rus, that wedding night. And if you're interested, there's a sheet out there. You can leave me your email, and I'll contact you of the where and when of it. Many mystics outlined how humans are a reflection of the divine in the material world. Even our physical body reflects the miraculous reality of being human. We are a physical creature with the potential and capacity to activate and embody the omniscience, omnipresence, and all of that that the divine has. Humans are perfectly imperfect. The vertical axis connects us to our source, to our essence. The horizontal is our place in the world, and it's not a coincidence that the hands extend from the heart. And it's also not an accident, as an aside, that the nails were put into the hands of Jesus because of what he did with his heart in the world. So this heart, this line here, it's not an accident either that the heart is where these two axes meet. So in the whirling of Rumi, the right hand is extended upwards, symbolic of our receptivity. The left hand is turned downward to the earth. So basically, receiving and giving the grace to the earth and humanity. Humans are the lightning rod of the divine, bringing light and love into this world. It begins within the heart and the heart of one's heart, bringing life-giving water from the infinite ocean to this place on earth. Rumi says, We came whirling out of nothingness, scattering stars like dust. The stars made a circle, and in the middle we dance. We are the generation of love. We came whirling into existence. We came spinning out of nothing, scattering stars like dust. The wheel of heaven turns, and we with it. We are the reflection of the divine. We came whirling into being. So, I would ask you to join me to welcome this boundless love. I am going to whirl, and we can all become love's midwife in this material world. So you can breathe love into the world, because love is always around, and we can make it our intention. We can use our capacity, our nervous system, our body, all that we have as humans to bring this invisible light into the world. So it's like light going through a prism. So invisible light, it's okay, you can wait, Michael, I'm ad-libbing here. Sorry. So light passes through a prism, and there's a rainbow. Like invisible light becomes visible. So it's the same when love passes through the human beings and becomes visible. Patience, generosity, kindness, good temper, all of the virtues that humans can manifest are the visible manifestation of that invisible light. Okay, so I'm going to take this. So Rumi's poem, "This is love, to fly toward a secret sky, to cause 100 veils to fall each moment. First, to let go of life, finally to take a step without feet, to regard as this world as invisible, and to disregard what appears to oneself. Heart," I said, "what a gift it has been to enter this circle of lovers, to see beyond seeing itself, to reach and feel within the breast." So, just to let you off the hook, Michael, I'm going to just ad-lib this story. So, many centuries ago, there was a Sufi that lived on an island. And in the Sufi tradition, they use Arabic chants, prayers. And there was a pious man, and this Sufi had lived on this island, had lived there many years, and he was kind of well known. So a coastal village, there was a pious man, Muslim, that had heard that this Sufi was saying the prayer incorrectly. Rather than saying Allahu, which means God is the essence, he was saying Hu Allah, which is the essence is God. So this pious Muslim felt that he should go correct this man, that it was his duty. So he got a boat and he rowed out to the island, and here he found the Sufi sitting there, and he cordially sat down and they started having a conversation. And eventually the pious guy got around to saying, "Look, brother, you know, the prayer that you're doing, Hu Allah, that's really not correct. It's not appropriate. The prayer is Allahu." And the Sufi said, "Thank you very much, brother, for coming out here and correcting me. I'm really grateful that you took the time and all of this to help me. Thank you so much." So the pious guy got back in his boat, rowing back, feeling quite happy and quite satisfied with his fulfilling his duty. And all of a sudden, he sees the Sufi running across the water. And the Sufi is saying, "Brother, brother, I forgot. Is it Allahu or Hu Allah?" So, I guess I have to check the time to see if there's any questions times. Yeah, we have a couple of minutes for questions, I guess. If there's any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
You read about the infinite space between atoms that cannot be filled with words.
Could you repeat that for the Zoom?
There we go.
Yes, for the Zoom. Is there a name of the poem you read that talks about the infinite space between atoms that cannot be adequately filled with words?
I'm sure there must be, because Rumi pretty well covered everything, but that particular one I don't know, but I will...
You read it.
Oh, the one I read? Okay, the stars? Sure. There's not a name for that one, but if you give me your email address, I will send you all the poems that I did here.
Okay.
Okay? If anybody wants the poems, I will send them to you. Thank you for your question. We're good? Okay. So, with this, I will conclude. I thank you for your attention and your hearts being here together. Mil gracias.
Our closing hymn is "There Is More Love Somewhere." Yesterday in practice, it was an unfamiliar hymn to me. Maybe it's not for some of you, but you can pick it up pretty quickly after the first verse, so we'll just sing until we get it. And so stand if you're able, and sing with all your hearts, and whirl if you'd like.
there is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Somewhere.
That concludes our service, so let us extinguish our chalice with these words which we read together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts and share with all the world. Over, our service begins. Go in peace and with a purpose.